She don't want you, Bravo. No. I'm telling you. She don't want you. All right. Girl, you know I is a batsman. Forget that little short man and come and take the champion boy.
Girl, well, me is not no batsman. I could give you style and pattern and proper conversation.
Girl, I say acres bowler, taking wickets all over, could prove it wrong your corner.
Well, I is not no bowler. Make you hotter than a toaster. Well, I could light your fire. Tell me who you prefer, baby, to take you home. Who can do it better?
DJ Bravo, Honey Badger Cricket podcast, honeybadgercricket.com. You like that one, Mark?
Oh, DJ Bravo. Is this his latest?
No, this came out. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, it says it's been out since October. This one little ditty is called She Want Me.
Yeah. DJ Bravo releases
Featuring
banger after banger.
Oh, he does. We've released banger after banger, don't we?
Yep.
This is episode 5.
Who would have thought we'd go this long?
No one. Yeah. No one. Looking at all the hate mail we've received on social media, no one thought we'd go this far, would he? But guess what? We've got 36 plays, motherfucker.
Yep. We're on the up, eh?
We're on the up.
We
and
doubled
the
it from
up.
week 4. Oh, week 3, sorry.
Is it? I have no idea.
Oh, we're on week 5.
Week 5.
Well, your 5th podcast, yeah.
Yeah. And what a week it's been. A huge week. A Godzilla-like week.
Imagine if there wasn't rain for the day-night test
Imagine
match.
if it hadn't rained.
Yeah, and then what happened with Aussie? So
Well,
we'll get onto that soon. But
Exactly. I mean, just in the past 24 hours, obviously, everyone who's listening to this has heard about the Australians and their bit of sticky tape and their altering the condition of the ball by nefarious means. It's okay to use some sort of bodily fluid and
a cough lozenge from time to time.
Well, Faf got done for that.
Yeah, I know.
And the Aussies got a bit riled up about that. But now, obviously, the pendulum has swung completely the other way. And Steve's been stood down for a game by the looks of things. He wouldn't fall on his sword, but I think he got the push from old Sutherland, or a.k.a. Colin Carpenter. And he threw this young lad, Bancroft, under the bus by the looks of things. I can't imagine Bancroft saying, "Yeah, mate, that's a great idea. I'm just gonna."
Apparently, the story was he was just walking past, and the senior boys just caught him over.
Just on the field.
Yeah, no, it was at lunch.
Okay.
We're talking about it at lunch, and like, oh yeah, you gotta do this. And
But he could have probably used a tape that wasn't so ostentatious as well.
yeah, it definitely stood out against the white.
Yeah, it certainly did.
So that wasn't smart.
Wasn't well
thinking.
thought
Like if
out,
you're gonna
really,
cheat, like we don't rate cheating at the Honey Badger Cricket Podcast. We're not fans of it.
And as New Zealanders, we've had a couple of people, Lou Vincent, another champion all-rounder, who have certainly been on the other side of the cricketing legal fraternity. But is it because it's Australia? It's such a big story.
Oh, I think it would be a big story with any team.
You think so?
It would be world news, but this is huge world news because it is Australia, and they've just been pushing the line, pushing that little boundary further and further, and now it's sort of we've reached the mountain peak, and because I read an article today that Steve Smith could be banned for life. Imagine
Seems harsh to me.
Imagine that.
Seems harsh to me.
Oh.
Without further ado, we have a very special guest who's... Well, we could lie and say he's in the studio, but by the audio quality, you can tell he's Skyping us from Melbourne. Dennis Freedman from Dennis Does Cricket. And he's got a magnificent podcast. Probably not as good as this one. A little bit more organised, though. Called... What the hell is it called?
Can't catch.
It's called the Can't Bowl, Can't Throw podcast. It's available on iTunes, and Dennis is very popular, very funny man on the Twitterverse, I think they call it, particularly with the Pakistani fans. He seems to have befriended them. He's just recently spent some time at the PSL, so I'm not sure exactly what he was doing, but broadcasting a few articles, generally acting the GOAT. So it's good to have him on the show. Special guest on the podcast today, Dennis Freedman from everyone's favourite cricket site, Dennis Does Cricket, and the Can't Bowl, Can't Throw podcast. Good afternoon, Dennis.
Very kind of you, Jim. Nice words, and glad to finally appear on your podcast.
Yes, I know. It's been a while, isn't it? Well, it hasn't been a while because we've only had this only our 5th episode, so it's a bit of a misnomer, but that's all right. Plenty of shit happening overnight by the looks of things, particularly from your boys, Australia. Fill us in. What's happened? What's going on?
Yeah, no one's much talking about it, are they? Look, I guess overnight what's happened is, as everyone knows, there's been this ball tampering issue over in South Africa, and it's got a lot of the nation quite disturbed and slightly outraged, I think, and most of it's mainly due to the fact that it's the whole ball tampering thing's been a bit of a conspiracy insofar as Smith and Warner and God knows who else actually sat during a lunch break and decided that ball tampering and planning to do it's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
So anyhow, they pinned
it on this young fella, didn't they, Bancroft, which was a bit harsh, we thought.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, it's still yet to play out. You know, if I without trying to jump to conclusions, I think one thing James Sutherland, who's the CEO of Cricket Australia, is doing quite well, is he said, look, can everyone just take a deep bloody breath? There needs to be a little bit of process here. Let's actually get the facts, and then let's deal with the facts.
Yep.
And if that takes me 3 days to do it, then give me 3 days. But I'd rather do it properly than not do it at all.
Yep.
And so I commend him for that because he's not everyone's most loved cricket administrator, but on this occasion, I think he's doing the right thing because the mood of the nation here on the West Island, mate, is out of control.
The Prime Minister's got involved, isn't he?
Yeah, people are baying for blood. And look, overnight, Smith and Warner have agreed to step down or were told to step down. That's still a bit ambiguous, but they're no longer leading the Australian Test team, and Tim Payne was appointed temporary skipper, so it's probably one of the only times that we've seen one skipper toss the coin and another one take him off at the end of the match. But
Not wrong.
yeah, we're all for innovation here. But look, I don't know how this is going to play out. There's talk. So overnight, Smith got a 1-match ban as per ICC rules for being the captain and ordering the ball tampering, and lost 100% of his match fee. Bancroft got 3 demerit points and also had a fine. But the ICC rules only go so far, and the guys, Dave Richardson and the boys, are going to do so much based on those rules. But Cricket Australia looks like they're about to make a values-based stance. There's leaks in the media that they're putting out that there could be some pretty horrible bans coming for these boys. You know, anywhere from 5 years up to life, I'm hearing. And I don't think life will go down well. But I wouldn't be surprised, mate, if we don't see Smith and Warner and these guys for at least 12 months.
That's over my head, man. I mean, personally, I thought, as you know, I'm involved with cricket and I see, umpiring and all that sort of thing, and I see guys, being a bit liberal with sort of the ball and things. They give it to the sweatiest guy in the team to sort of lube things up, but ratting out or getting a young lad to, particularly using yellow tape, which wasn't well thought out really in the end, was it? Maybe it was just it was green and gold tape, was it?
I think Smith's come out during overnight and said one of the failings here is that they should learn how to cheat better. Maybe skin coloured tape would have been better.
It's just the Aussie attitude there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now this James Sutherland, does he not look a bit like Colin Carpenter from the? Do you remember the? Remember the what was
Colin
it?
Carpenter,
the Comedy
Colin
Factory
Carpenter,
or Comedy Company, one of those.
That's it. Yeah, wasn't he from Number 1 Pleasant Crescent?
Yeah.
Colin Carpenter. That's right.
Because I saw this guy on the news, Southern last night, and he looked like he was about to cry. And I was sort of...
Well, mate, to be fair to him, he's been blindsided. You don't expect... The biggest issue, and I think if I break it right down, Jim, the biggest issue is that it's the trust breach. It's not as though... There's a difference between someone on the field being an asshat and choosing to just scratch a ball or throw it into the dirt or
eat it.
Yeah. I've told Shahid Afridi he should actually microwave the ball first. It's easier to eat, but...
more palatable, isn't it?
Correct. It's the leather becomes a bit easier to chew, but there's a difference between sort of a spur of the moment thing by an individual versus the captain of the team, the vice captain of the team, and quote the leadership group actually conspiring to cheat. And that's the bit that's got up the Aussies' goat, right? The Australian public's goat is we're all happy to play hard and headbutt the line and go as hard as you need to go, but as soon as someone goes into cheating. We really crack the shits. And whether that be Chinese swimmers at the Olympics, female swimmers with big, broad shoulders, whether that be Tom Brady and deflating the ball during the Super Bowl, whether that be, I'm going to say this and get into trouble, but the Pakistani cricketers of the 80s and 90s.
Everyone knows what you're talking about, Dennis. It's fine.
But Australia's been quite sanctimonious with this stuff and sort of had a values-based high horse and moral soapbox that we've stood on for a long time. And when the captain of the Test team, who's said to be the second most powerful bloke in the country behind the PM, comes out and does it, and it's a conspiracy, that's when all hell's broken loose and just betrayed trust. And we'd rather lose the series 4-0 having a crack with youngsters than go out there and cheat. And that's the bit that's really caused the angst. And I think when Smith and Warner and the boys get home, I don't think they've quite worked out, or I'm not quite sure they're reading the tea leaves yet about the anger that's actually here. And I say that only because Smith said, no, I'm still the right bloke to captain the team and we'll learn from this. Well, mate, you've bloody well learnt. You've been stood down as captain, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cricket Australia and James Sutherland say, look, we don't really need you around for a while. And just to close off, Jim, I think the thing that I like about it is Cricket Australia is finally making a values-based stance on things, but they've had plenty of opportunity in recent years. They could have told Stephen O'Keefe to piss off when he abused Paul Rachel Haynes at the Alan Border Medal Awards. He could have told the 20 official gambling partners that they've got to bugger off. We don't really need that. We don't need kids putting KFC buckets on their heads. There's a whole lot of things that Cricket Australia could make a stance on about the diet and obesity of kids, or gambling, or sexual discrimination. But he's gone after cheating, and that's probably a good place to start. Hopefully you can roll into other things as well. So
your official stance, you're thinking, is that they're going to make sanctions outside of the ones the ICC will impose. You think it's a in-house, you've let us down, you've shamed us, here's your punishment. Are they going to give him a sort of a Shane Warne when he took that fat pill or whatever he took, and they gave him a year for that?
That year came from the ICC and from ASADA, the drug code, right? So that wasn't a Cricket Australia call. But what James Sutherland's alluding to here is that these guys have breached the code of conduct from Cricket Australia, which is a contractual thing that they've all signed up to, and I think they're going to come down hard. If I'm a bit Machiavellian, I think there was a bit of there was some weird sort of vibes back towards Cricket Australia after the Fair Share campaign with the players threatening to strike recently, and
bit of bad blood already, wasn't there?
Yeah, a lot of the Australian public sort of that one split the Australian public down the middle. Some siding with the players and some siding with the big bureaucracy that is Cricket Australia. But I think this is one where Sutherland can garner everyone's support and get everyone behind him by making a stand here based on a values stance. And I think he's reading those tea leaves, and I wouldn't be surprised, as I said, if we don't see Warner and Smith for 12 months.
Just one more thing, Dennis. Mark was talking earlier about Australian cricketers seem to be on a lot more of a pedestal now. I mean, we can just walk down the street and see Martin Guptill having a durry or something on the side of the road, and it's that sort of thing. But in Australia, they do take on more of a celebrity kind of status. And do you think this has something to do with it? Seeing someone obviously who's been put on that pedestal, and then people are going to want to see them cut down after they've sinned.
No, I disagree, mate. I think there's been a few that have put themselves on a pedestal, but Australia and New Zealand sort of cultures are very similar. If you see a hero, a rugby player or a cricketer in the street having smashed avocado on toast with his missus and his family, you're not going to go up and ask for a selfie. You're going to let them be. Sure, we both kind of do that the same. There's a couple that have put themselves up. Michael Clark was probably the first one. Leaving a New Zealand tour to break up with his fiancée. And who was allegedly flushed the ring down the toilet, that with Lara Bingle, that old thing. So there was him, and there's probably a couple more, but I wouldn't say most of them are like that. Most of them are pretty good blokes to hang around with, to be honest, and down to earth. No, you don't see them on too many ads over here and things like that. No, just there's a couple of them like that, and the problem is that I can understand why you've asked the question, especially after, as I said, the Fair Share campaign and the players' strike stuff, where they all sort of banded together and sort of cried poor and said how they're going to lose control of revenues and the game and shit. I mean, that stuff made them look a bit special, but I reckon they've got a long way to claw back from now. If that MOU and that players' strike thing was happening started this week, they would have no support.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they've lost all that now, haven't they? So
Trust is gone. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
They've busted the trust, and it's a long way back. It's going to be a long way back.
That could be the new hashtag, busted the trust, perhaps.
I'm working on a few, yeah.
And where can our loyal listeners find you, Dennis?
Thanks, Jim. Look, I'm probably most active either on Twitter or Facebook. So Twitter is Dennis Cricket _. I try and engage with as many people as I can. Facebook, Dennis Does Cricket is the Facebook page, and there's also the dennisdoescricket.com website, which has got everything. But my favourite part's the Can't Bowl, Can't Throw Cricket podcast. So go find that.
That's
where
on
Jim,
iTunes,
I believe,
isn't it? Yep.
It's a ripper podcast insofar as we give away cricket bats from Honey Badger Cricket, who are the best cricket bat manufacturer in the world.
And you had nothing to do with that being said, had you? So
No sponsored comment
you weren't prompted to say that at any point.
I wasn't prompted. No. I wasn't paid for it. I just chose to do it because I believe in it.
There we go. That's what we want. Dennis Freedman. We'll have to have him back on the show again.
Be a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, mate. See you later. Run the world, DJ Bravo. You're back on the Honey Badger Cricket Show. I'm Jim, a.k.a. Jimbaland. As always, Mark Kelly. What did you think of those thoughts from Dennis, Mark?
Oh, I agree.
You agree? Oh, good start.
Real good start. Do you? Here's a question for you. I should have asked this to Dennis, but I didn't.
Didn't manage to get a word in there.
Do you think Steve Smith will have as a big a fall from grace like Lance Armstrong did?
No.
Not the cheating scandal.
Because he's not a drugs cheat.
But he was.
But drugs gives you more of a stigma, doesn't it? But when they hear drugs, hold on.
But it's still cheating.
It's still cheating, but honestly, I don't
black
see
and
it.
White.
Personally, I don't see it as a massive deal.
Really?
Possibly because I've done some umpiring and stuff, and I know what goes on. The field guys push the lines all the time. I think it's probably a little bit overblown, but I think, as Dennis alluded to, I think it's more that Australia's been so sanctimonious with everyone else about, on-field behaviour and having to go basically at everybody, except for New Zealand.
They did have a go. They gave it to Grant Elliott in the final.
In the World
Brad
Cup,
had such a dickhead.
Yeah, dickhead. Anyway, moving on. The test is looking intriguing. Have you got an update for us of the pink ball?
Yeah, so currently 164 for 4.
164 for 4. So New Zealand needs 6 wickets. So England must be sort of 260 behind, 250, something like that.
Well, 330 they were trailing.
And that sort of figure? Yeah, so are we going to go up to Eden Park tonight is the big question.
It's a resounding yes.
Resounding yes.
Yeah.
I've just been informed that I've got some free tickets, actually. So, yeah, well, it'd be rude not to. Wouldn't it be rude not to?
Yeah, I checked in last night, which was, I was actually very disappointed, to be fair, with the atmosphere.
Because it was 120 people there?
Oh, it was ridiculous, eh?
Okay.
It was, very
vast
disappointing.
And cavernous and so forth.
Well, it started, day one was incredible. That whole, what were they, 8 for 21? And then
it was a horror show, wasn't it? Really?
We almost, you put that up on the Honey Badger cricket website.
I did.
Twitter page. You almost, what year was it? 57, 58 with the...
but I could have been talking out of my ass, to be honest with you.
Just made up a year.
I had a couple of beers by that stage, so I was thinking I knew all the stats.
Didn't you send that out at 3:13 in the afternoon? Couple of beers
possibly,
already?
Yes.
Busy Thursday.
It was a big Thursday, certainly. So, hopefully we can take these 6 wickets. But if you're an English fan listening, you're thinking, why don't you guys shut up? We're going to play, we're going to play for a boring draw. We're going to block this out. They need a bit of what type of player do they need? They need a Collingwood sort of a guy, don't they?
Yeah, poor Collingwood. Remember,
someone with a bit of steel.
Just saw something today that 5 years to the day when England held on for that draw at Eden Park.
That's right. They were 9 down, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember I walked down there from school. It was free entry.
Good chat.
And it was very good. Yeah. Shout out to Grammar.
Shout out to Grammar. Well, tonight is basically free because we're getting in free.
Absolutely.
That's just one of the perks of having the #1 cricket podcast in central Auckland.
Oh, we could probably branch out of all Auckland.
Well, we might not be #1 actually. I'm just sort of, it's an empty boast.
I just back ourselves. I think. Well, we have 37 listeners last week. So
37
we're on the way up.
listeners.
Yeah.
So we're thanking you, the listening public. We're really starting to. It's becoming a movement now, isn't it? Really.
I see the hashtag popping up everywhere. Honey
It's
Badger Cricket
popping up
Podcast.
everywhere.
Yep.
Speaking of that, a certain radio station actually managed to pinch some footage that I took off the news last night that had a sports journalist referring to Trent Bolt being in the pink and England being in the stink, which I thought was a little unsavoury for the 6 p.m. news. I don't know about what you think, Mark.
Was it what I'm guessing that was Channel 3. Something Channel 3 would do.
News Hub, it's called now.
News Hub.
actually.
Oh, it's not? Is
Yeah.
it not? Jeez.
But it's effectively TV3, yes. But hey, yeah, thanks to that particular station for ripping my footage and so forth. But that's okay. We're all friends, aren't we? Okay, so predictions for tonight. Can New Zealand take the 6?
Oh, I think under lights would be pretty.
Under lights?
Yeah, I think
I'm thinking a resolute sort of Bairstow. Moen Ali is due a fighting knock. He's played them in the past. He didn't make jack shit against England in the Ashes. He hasn't really made much of an impact all sort of tour. I think it's time for Moen to step up and just blunt everything we've got.
Yeah, 13 off 140 or something.
Yeah.
One of those sort of innings.
I just hope we don't, in the pursuit of wickets, because there's still a lot of overs left in the day, to be fair. I hope the weather's good for everyone listening who's not in Auckland. Should be no problems with weather. I hope we don't bowl the shit out of Southey and Bolt and basically just knacker them, and so the last sort of session they've got nothing left in the tank. They need who's bowling at the moment? I assume it's one of those two, is it? Or,
Yeah, both of them.
or Wagner.
Or Wagner is just going to bowl short ball and just try and pepper them.
We all know that. That's all right. But you don't mind him going for a few runs if he does get a few gloves or top edges and things like that. The problem at Eden Park is obviously the boundaries. If someone gets a top edge, it's more likely to get a 6 and get swallowed. A la Andrew Hilditch on the boundary.
Currently De Gronholm and Wagner.
Okay, so Dutchie is filling in a few overs. That's good.
There's been 6 maidens in a row.
Is there?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
quite slow going.
Sounds riveting, isn't it?
worth you what, $25 entry?
Worth your $25 entry. You touched on the fact you went there last night. As I said, I went there on Thursday, and I had been, if you'd listened to the podcast previously, I had been a little critical about what I saw as, trying to change the cricket demographic a little bit of Eden Park to be down with the kids a little bit, and have terms of them having night markets to attract people, and a barber. I think it was called the Barker's Groom Room, actually.
I bet that was chock-a-block.
Well, this is the thing, because, see, I was wandering around the ground sort of holding a couple of ciders, and I kept bumping into people I knew through cricket and so forth. And I got talking to a guy just next to the groom room, which, by the way, had a magnificent view. It was near the old Scotsman stand there, with the ugly Panasonic
Yep.
blue and white seats used to be. Anyway, up there, and it was actually quite busy.
Right.
I noted 3 to 4 hipsters getting,
Short buns?
beard trims, and
Yeah.
and getting their buns and sides
Yep.
sorted out and that sort of thing.
As you
So I
do.
was suitably impressed, and the other amenities with the food that you had all different cuisines from all around the world and stuff.
I saw someone sitting next to me on last night was eating like pad thai.
Pad Thai,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's-
Pad Thai comes to the cricket.
What happened to bloody just hot chips and a hot dog?
Well, I'll tell you what happened to them. They're just they're sorry excuses for food is what they are.
Well, and you get
they're
$7.50 for a small little pop of chips.
The hot dogs are $5. Like, and when we say hot dogs, people, we mean just a sausage on a stick, like a corn dog, which is a sort of a Kiwi favourite. $5. $5.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's good to have other offerings though, and I think apart from the sparse crowd, which is not ideal, and I know people at Auckland Cricket will be pretty upset about that. Everything's, the concept's good. It's just really getting people through the gate, and I think the weather didn't help. And 5 days of cricket these days is trying to entertain people for 5 days is a big ask unless you're Ed Sheeran.
He was even at the cricket, I think, on
I think
Friday.
he was. He was
yeah,
in changing
yeah.
sheds or something.
That would have been
wasn't
good for the boys when it's raining outside. Just gather around Uncle Ed and
it? That's right.
play some heartbreaking songs or whatever he sings about.
We touched on whether we thought it was advisable taking a date to the cricket.
Oh, yes, last week, yeah.
And you
Yep.
knew, everyone got my sort of feelings on that and the experiences I'd had. I understand you did the same thing last night.
Yeah, took a risk.
Yep.
It was good.
Did it pay off?
Yeah, it was
Was
fine.
it a Brendan McCullum-like risk?
No, it wasn't
all
a
the
scoop
fielders
shot
up.
with Brett Lee and
Like 3 silly
Yeah.
points and things like that.
No, it was good. It was she'd never been to cricket, so I'd spent a good proportion of the
Which
time.
can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
can't
I
it?
spent a lot of the time explaining what they're trying to do.
Yep.
Why they're all wearing white.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a few questions.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Okay. At what point did you start getting annoyed?
Nah, I didn't.
didn't?
I stuck through. It was all good. It wasn't. I had a couple of beers, so I was pretty happy. And
So thumbs up or thumbs down to this cricket dating experience?
thumbs up.
Test match dating
Day
experience.
night test match. How romantic.
It is romantic.
Honestly.
Especially at night.
You can make a movie about
You can
it.
see the sunset over the western stand.
Yeah, and
all
that's
that
where we were
sort of
sitting. Yeah. I picked a pretty good seat.
thing. See, that's romance
Yeah,
right there,
yeah.
isn't it?
Got a soft heart.
Gotta be, you gotta be happy with that. Some local Plunkett Shield scores. I see Auckland's in shit again overnight. Targo 300 odd in Auckland, 28 for 2 at stumps. It's quite late in the year for them to be playing Plunkett
I
Shield.
think there's one more round.
Yeah, it's the last day. I think it's on the 5th of April. Which you're pushing our luck a little bit. But that's okay. How's Canterbury doing with Honey Badger's sponsored player Tim Johnston hopefully hitting a few bombs?
Yeah, 12 for none off 5 overs, chasing CD 361 for 7 declared.
Okay.
They've obviously had a couple of days rain down there.
Yeah.
So
How did the Enigma Greg Hay go this week?
I'll just double click on the scoreboard.
Oh, you
'cause
just
I wasn't expecting
Okay, sorry, I'm just throwing curly ones.
another
at you.
question.
Yeah. That's why the production
yeah,
budget's so high this show.
70 off 153.
Yes.
not
Should we
bad.
start a campaign to get Greg Hay in the test side?
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, who for opening? Jeet.
Well, Jeet's had a nick at the moment. I think. we
But
mentioned it last week.
he still scores.
Oh yes, I'm not saying it's a like-for-like replacement. I'm just saying give Greg a go. That could be the hashtag. Give Greg a go.
How old is he?
I think he's about 30. Because I'm always amazed by his stats and why he's never been looked at. I wonder if he's got some sort of technical deficiency or what it is. If someone in the CD area knows more than we do about it, it'd be good. Or we get Greg himself on the show maybe to let us know what's happening. Because this guy looks good. I mean, his stats all back up. And he makes runs. He's making runs all over the shop this year as well. So, very strange. Who knows? That's why I'm not a select.
Yeah. Updated the Auckland game, they're all out for 134.
Okay,
Trailing
well done, the
Otago
Aces
by
again.
171. Wellington all out for 137. And ND are currently 276 for the loss of 8 at lunch.
So no big scores really coming out this weekend. Okay.
Not many, if any, Jim.
The big show, Plunkett Shield. Speaking of big shows, it's time for DJ Bravo watch, isn't it?
DJ Bravo watch, yep.
DJ Bravo, DJ Bravo, DJ Bravo, DJ Bravo. Champion, 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 champion.
What's been happening with DJ, Mark?
Well, he's over in India, Chennai Super Kings. He's still waiting. Their first game, I think, was it the 8th of...
Well, how long's he been waiting? Because last week he was sitting there twiddling his thumbs as well.
yeah, but
wasn't
no,
he?
he's just released a new song. So
He
he's been
has.
putting all his...
Is that De Rhythm? Or
yeah,
similar?
yeah,
What's
we
it
just...
it's actually
the
called?
world, rule the world.
Rule the World.
Rule the world.
Yeah.
So, the 8th, he's still... Same as last week, nothing's changed. 8th of April, he
Yep.
plays the Chennai Super Kings against the Mumbai Indians.
I think we're going to have to start making up things he's doing because he's in a holding pattern.
Yeah, we got what, 3
We've
weeks?
got nothing.
But he is a champion.
He is a champion.
And so are you, Jim.
Well, there's not much dispute about that.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us for another episode. This one was a little bit off the cuff, a little bit of knee-jerk reaction to the whole, what are they calling it, tape gate, something like that.
What was it, sandpaper?
No, I thought it was tape with sort of, had some soil sort of
Was it?
stuck to
Yeah.
the tape to create a bit of grit. A bit of grit from the pitch and things from the pitch.
It's just a shit show all around.
Either way, they got caught. You
Yeah.
know, and gives us fodder, doesn't it? That's all right. Hopefully we'll be back in a couple of days and we'll have a wrap-up of the pink ball test that we're not calling the pink ball test. And a
Day night
preview
test.
of the final act of the season. Then live from the Village of the Damned. I think that starts Thursday, does it? Is it Thursday
Thursday or Friday, yeah.
Might be a Friday.
And hopefully by then DJ Bravo's done something else that we can report
And we'll
about.
have actually something to talk about.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us. The audience is building. For the best cricket gear in the world, honeybadgercricket.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.